Okay, here for Best Buy plugin, and in this video review we take a look at the GoPro Hero 6 Black action cam. By now the GoPro is a household name. Everybody knows what it is and everybody knows pretty much what it does. And so with the Hero 6, GoPro has incrementally improved everything that it's done before. There is a waterproof body now, so you can use it in waterborne activities without having to worry. And of course the image quality is improved, which everybody wants. So we took a look at the GoPro Hero 6, and I took a lot of different shots with it to try it in different situations. So, as I review this, I'm going to show a lot of that footage, and you can judge for yourself. The Hero 6 Black maintains the iconic squared form factor GoPro is known for, and a lot of the same principles apply here. A record button on top, a mode button on the side, and a 2-inch touchscreen on the back as well, along with that small screen on the front. The body is waterproof, so you can dive with it down to a depth of 33 feet. You don't need a case for that. And this also works in salt water, only you need to make sure to rinse it off after you're done. One of the reasons GoPro is so versatile is the mounting system, which is so widely supported. There's just so many of them. And you can use, whether it's a sticky mounts, like the two that come out of the box in this case, there are selfie sticks, or even a chest strap. There's so many different ways to mount the camera. The new GP1 processor inside, I think, is the most impactful change because it enables the Hero 6 to shoot in 4K at 60, 30, or even 24 frames per second. That's on top of already being able to shoot at 1440p, 1080p, 720p, and varying frame rates all in between. You want to go slow-mo? No problem. You can shoot at 240 frames per second for those clips. The choices here are really pretty flexible. And the image quality does stand out as a result. Being fixed focused, the GoPro isn't designed for any macro photography, and so capturing wide vistas with the wide angle options, you can go really wide, in the menu layout is where the camera shines. Its range isn't bad by any means. As the premier action cam on the market, footage has always looked dynamic when people are in the shot. But for me, the way it captured a scene, especially when the scenery is epic like it is in Iceland, always displayed an impressive vibrancy. GoPro uses its own color mode by default, which saturates everything, but you can also choose to go with the flat option. Protune is the mode presenting a modicum of manual control, where you can adjust things like exposure, color mode, shutter speed, ISO, among other features. Unless you plan to make your own edits to the color when editing after, I would leave it on the default and not use the flat option. You'll get more highlights and shadows, but it's otherwise a much duller image. Normally, I would play around with manual controls when using a camera, but I was more cautious for the Hero 6 because I needed time to discern how changes would affect footage. Still, I think it's worth exploring the various options to learn the strengths and weaknesses inherent in the product. For example, low-light shooting is not very good. It just isn't. I mean, noise and grain permeate the image when there's less light coming in through the lens. Despite having specific night modes, and even a recent firmware update, the results aren't anywhere near as impressive as clips taken with good lighting. GoPro uses the HEVC codec for 4K videos, and it's a pretty demanding video compression standard. You will need a Windows PC or Mac with enough horsepower to process them. Thankfully, smartphone and tablet compatibility is pretty high. So long as you have an iPhone or iPad running on an A10 chip, or an Android device running version 5.0 Lollipop or later, along with a Snapdragon 820 processor or later, then you're good to go. So the Emergence 4K in this action cam plays havoc on the battery as a result too. I mean, GoPro is aware that a charge doesn't last very long in this case, so they've released a firmware update to tackle that. Unfortunately, the positive impact has been minimal at best, so more needs to be done. All told, I saw the Hero 6 guzzle the battery every time, but most especially when shooting in 4K. I strongly recommend getting a backup battery to ensure you don't feel the kind of range anxiety I went through. Same with the memory card. Get one with plenty of storage and a fast writing speed. 4K files are the opposite of small, and they need the writing speed too. The GoPro and Quick apps for iOS and Android are great for controlling the Hero 6 without having to touch it. All the features and Protune options are available to configure. So if the camera is out of reach upon setup because of where you mounted it, you can always make changes on the fly without having to go back to the camera and fiddle with it. Once you're done, you can then transfer and edit clips on your mobile device, which is pretty robust for an app like Quick. It's nice to see that GoPro takes these apps seriously. By and large, though, I think that the image quality is an improvement. I don't have a Hero 5 to show you, to compare one to the other, but I do think that from what I shot, I was very satisfied with what I had. But again, the lower the light, the tougher the shot. I've heard the argument that, GoPros are really for people who know how to use them. And I think, like any camera, people who know how to use them better will probably get better results. But it doesn't mean that you can't use it yourself if you've never used them before. The Hero 6 is probably one of the best examples, or one of the best cameras you can start with in the GoPro line because of where it's at. Not only because of the capabilities, not only because of the quality, but simply because they're just easier to use now than they used to be. And that's my review of the GoPro Hero 6. For Best Buy Plugin, I'm Teddy K. Thanks for watching.